Hello and welcome back to Chair Shot Wrestling Podcast. I'm Steve O'Mac. I'm here from Moonlight Studios with Dino D-Truth.
What is crack-a-lacking, Steve-O?
Everything is good, Dino. Everything is good, apart from a few little technical issues that we're having tonight. It's turned into a bit of a late one, but we're cracking on with it.
Thank God we love wrestling, isn't it?
Thank God we love wrestling. It's been a week.
But Steve-O, before you go on, I must tell the guys, please like and subscribe if you haven't already. And please, if you can't watch the podcast and you're at the gym, you're doing your thing, you know what I mean, you're at work, you need to just listen to it. We're on Spotify, we're on Apple Music, we're on Amazon, Apple, and Spotify. That's it.
The new one, Audible.
Audible as well. Wow, we are really coming up in the world. We're really coming up in the world. Anyway, that's enough of that. Let's crack on with the show.
Right, okay. Look, overall, mate, I think the wrestling's been good again this week.
Yeah, it's been great.
I think we're still on this bit of a roller coaster of both companies bringing the best out of each other.
I really felt it. Like I actually stayed up last night. No, I didn't. I'll be honest with you. One of those nights I've had a really busy week of work, and I sort of was going to go to bed. I got that little update on my phone saying Raw starts in 10 minutes, and I thought, you know what? Fuck it, I'm just going to stay up and watch it. And I'm really happy I did because it was just, I don't know, there's like a great atmosphere and like an old school vibe to it. Like I thought last night, and I felt like it really there's some positive changes, and I really feel like, they're listening to a lot, and it just it was great. It was great. I really enjoyed it last night.
Yeah, I think if you think about what we were saying last week, last week's Raw was pretty good. We had that. I'm losing track, but we had the promo between Roman and Seth, didn't we, last week?
Oh, that's phenomenal.
So the contract signing
phenomenal
between Roman and Seth, and then it felt like AEW then had to sort of try and follow that with their Dynamite. So let's look.
And by the way, I'm really eager to see next week because we got they got the sort of face-to-face when we were Seth and Roman, one more before SummerSlam, so that's going to be good what's going to happen there. But anyway.
In terms of comparing it to recent Dynamites, I don't think this was the greatest one, but it was a bit more of a kind of a filler Dynamite. We got a couple of weeks until their next pay-per-view, and it was just putting a few more wheels in motion. But there was still a couple of cracking matches, mate, that were surprisingly good. You had Cope and Cage, Edge and Christian, right?
Yeah.
Up against Danny Garcia and Wheeler Yuta. Now, I know you don't like Yuta. I don't mind him. Look, he's a Death Rider.
I know.
You got to love him.
He's the lowest ranked Death Rider. If it was Sons of Anarchy, it'd be like half sack or something.
Mate, they still had a fucking decent match with Cope and Cage.
Well, it's fucking Edge and
really
Christian. Of course they could have a decent match. I could have a decent match with Edge and Christian. You know what I mean? Come on, man.
The match got interrupted at the end, I think, didn't it? After the match, I think it was Christian that might have got the pinfall, and then the Dogs came down after the match, and then the Bang Bang Gang came down. So it feels like the Dogs have been taken away from that feud that they were having with Cope and Cage, and they're now involved in this sort of this back-to-back sort of throwing shit at each other, basically in promos, isn't they? The Dogs and the Bang Bang Gang, which completely opens it up for Cope and Cage now to pursue this Bucks thing. They keep having a chat to the Young Bucks, don't they? They keep bumping into each other. The Bucks are mentioning they definitely want a full reign as champions. And we haven't seen FTR for a while, but I feel like it ain't going to be long before they come back into the fold.
Can only hope, go on, mate.
And then we're on our way, mate, to the TLC at Wembley.
I mean, the dream is still alive, yeah.
I still feel it's going to happen. I keep saying it. I still feel it's going to happen. Nothing at the minute is changing my mind based on the way that this is going. But the Bucks are not facing, weird enough, Cope and Cage for the belts at Redemption, because the Bucks, mate, I don't know whether you picked up on this, they have got a match with Moxley and Ospreay. Now that's going to be some tag match.
Wow, yeah.
Moxley and Ospreay against the
Wow.
Bucks.
Wow, that's gonna be fantastic, isn't it?
I am
And you had
looking
that
for.
little neon scene where, like, he sort of, like, where Ospreay come out, and he was like, "Oh, hey, Bucks, sorry I cost you your job, by the way."
Yeah.
Like, and he sort of, like, brought it back there. Like, I like that promo where he said,
Yeah.
I really like that promo. You know, I really like when he said, "We're the real life Goku and Vegeta." I really like that as a big
I
Dragon
had
Ball
to
Z
rewind
fan.
that a couple of
As a
times
big
because
Dragon Ball Z fan.
I didn't catch what he said to begin with, and then
Yeah.
yeah, it took me a couple of times, but
No, being a
it was a
massive
good
Dragon Ball
promo.
Z guy, I used to
Yeah,
love Dragon Ball Z. I still watch it now, like, you know, like,
yeah,
you know, it's like, yeah, when he said about the yeah, like a drag, it made sense as well because, you know, he's like they're fucking like Super Saiyans. He's saying, you
yeah.
know, like Goku and Vegeta. Yeah,
I thought this was one of Kenny's better promos as well. He maybe drags it on a little bit, but I felt like he sort of he came across quite well in this. He came across as you know, like he looked like he got his star power back. You know,
yeah.
the changing of the belt, giving him back the
Well,
original black strap. You know,
yeah, that was
getting rid of
cool.
the triple
I
B.
mean, I mean, I mean, Will Ospreay gave him props as well, didn't he? He said, "Oh, like the kick out one that he mentioned," and
Yeah,
yeah, it was like, yeah,
yeah, and you know, on Osprey, yeah, Osprey bigged him up because he said, you know, like for the last 10 years, you know, you have been my hero. I've been watching you, you know, the way that you perform in the ring, and all he wanted to do was kind of emulate, you know, Kenny Omega, and that this is a dream match for him. But I mean, I picked up on this a few weeks back that I think it was when actually, it might have even been a few months back. Do you remember when they had that original meeting when they just had their matches and they'd both lost and they were like in the medical room and do you remember they were having that sort of that chat and you know, Osprey had said at that point that, you know, that was his hero and that he wants to see Kenny go on and win the belt one more
yeah,
time. But then you had the one where do you remember when Mox just sort of walked in as well? You know,
yeah,
they were having a
yeah.
chat
I remember that. Yeah,
and
it
he
was
just
great. How
walked
can I
in
forget? Yeah,
and he said to Kenny about like, you know, we've all got skeletons in the closet. So I still feel like we're going down this route of Mox is telling Osprey, you have to be ruthless. If you want to win this belt, there's no sentiment involved. You know, you can't see Kenny as your hero. You've got to be willing to put him down. You've got to be, you know, and it feels like Mox is really kind of trying to keep Will on that track of you need to be prepared to do anything to win this belt. There could be a heel turn, mate. Osprey makes a good heel.
yeah, I
You
could say
know,
that.
I've seen him as a heel before. He makes a fucking good
Yeah,
heel. I'd think it would be a mistake because I feel like
Wembley as well. Though he needs to be the
yeah,
face. Doesn't he?
and
He
I
needs
feel
that
like
big home.
MJF is the ultimate heel that you don't need another one. But I don't know. It is a strange thing because Moxley is still this sort of tweener, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's not really a full on babyface.
It's harder now because, like, especially like, you know, the thing is with AEW, it's always been a thing because obviously it's the proper sicko fans, isn't it? That are AEW that have gone over now and were big AEW fans, like me and you included, definitely. But it's like, how do I put this? It's like back in the day, it's like they say, like, when the Four Horsemen were like, woo, by the way, shout out, mate. But like the Four Horsemen, you know, they were the obvious heels. But fuck me, how could you hate the Four Horsemen? You
Yeah,
know, they were coming in, getting all the girls, you know, splashing the money, getting drunk, you know, having a good time. How could you hate the Four Horsemen? It's the same sort of thing with
yeah,
Moxley. He's a badass. And it's like, look, how can you hate Moxley?
yeah,
And it's like, for us real wrestling fans, like, you know, that just love it, we just love the character and we love it. And it's not like we, you know, we're tuning in every now and then and we're like, oh, you know, this guy needs to be hated. We know what he puts in and we know this. So that's
yeah,
why we like him. And that's why a
yeah,
lot of the fans, so it's hard to be a full on heel when you're like that, isn't it? When you're like, when you know, you're
yeah.
that committed to your craft and you know his backstory, you know, he's took a pay cut to go to AEW and do that. You know his backstory and, you know, so it makes sense that he would like, you know, he is a tweener
Yeah, and he's
because
got his
how
demons as
can you
well, mate.
fully,
He's had
how
the
can you?
alcohol
Yeah, of
stuff.
course. How
There's
he's a
been some
real guy.
rehab.
How could you fully hate the guy? You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, oh, mate, he demands respect from people for
Yeah,
what he's done. Uh, and look, mate, they even got a great reaction again at the end of this promo. You know, when Kevin Knight came down and him and Kenny had their little sort of go
yeah,
back and forth, and then Kevin Knight hit him with the mic, didn't he? And jumped on him. And we all sort of got involved. But then, you know, the Dom Perignon brings out his army, you know, because he's got so many guys, hasn't he? And it looked like it was going to be Ospreay standing side by side. You know, I'll tell you what it reminded me of. I don't know whether I like to test you with films, Deano, because I know, like me and you, we're a bit similar, but I don't know whether this is a bit before your time. Like Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid.
No, I'm saying
No. See, westerns, westerns died out, but it's that it was that kind of that thing of like, right, it's me and Kenny, and we you know, we're gonna stand together, we're gonna take on this onslaught, and then all of a sudden, Death Rider's music drops, out comes Mox, and he just literally just stands in front of the pair of them as if to say, like, I'll protect both of you. Like, I'll take anything. He's like bulletproof, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's just this, you know, it's this character that he's got where this stature of, if you want to go through me, there's going to be blood, basically.
Yeah.
Like, and then and people back off, and I love that. I love the character that they've created. It is so far away from that Death Riders thing of carrying the briefcase and keeping the belt in the briefcase. And
His Sons of Anarchy. He's Jack Steller, isn't he? He's Jack.
Well,
Steller.
no, he's more
Clay.
He's Clay. He's more
and
like
Will
Clay.
Ospreay's Jack Steller. Yeah.
They've definitely got that sort of feel about it, but I'm loving it. And again, I think there's a big future story to be told after the whole Wembley and All In and all that kind of stuff is done and dusted. I feel like Mox and Omega ain't finished. I feel like that story is not finished, because when Moxley had that belt last year and he kept it locked up in that case, and everyone was trying to have their chance of getting it away from the Death Riders to sort of rescue it. Well, Kenny was out. That's when Kenny was out with his diverticulitis. He wasn't part of any of those storylines, so they never crossed paths at any point of Moxley's reign. And I feel like that story from when Kenny screwed him over originally, that ain't over. Not for Moxley, that ain't over. And I reckon the second half of this year, we're going to see Kenny Omega and Moxley in a massive storyline, a massive feud.
Yeah, it makes sense. Yeah.
And it's going to be fucking great, mate, because it, like, you know, Mox has got the Death Riders, but Kenny has got the Bucks. He's got, you know, he can reform the Elite.
He's got Hangman come back.
Got Hangman. Hangman would stick by him. Who, I don't know what's happening with him health-wise, but Adam Cole, baby.
Yeah.
I could see Adam Cole coming back, man, if he gets signed off to wrestle. You know, he's going to be back in the fold. So I think there's a lot. You know, we're all building up to this Wembley thing, but I reckon the second half of the year is going to be great as well, mate.
Oh, there's a lot to look forward to. And, you know, this momentum just keeps going. Like I said, on both brands, you know, because it's just fucking, I'm enjoying it at the minute. You know, I'm just loving wrestling. I mean, I'm to be honest with you, it's like the most at the minute. I thought it last night. I thought this is the most I've enjoyed wrestling in a very, very long time.
Yeah.
I mean,
we've got a couple more bits to cover, AEW, mate, before we move on to WWE. One of them is Deano the Truth smashed it out the park. You called it, didn't you? The Painmaker.
I know my guy. I know what you're saying. I know my guy. I know my guy. You know what I mean? The Painmaker. It just made so much sense. Jericho loves the nostalgia. Jericho loves the little like refresh things. You know what I mean? It made so much sense. And you're welcome for letting you guys know. You know,
you
what
called
I mean?
it 2 weeks running.
I called it. You know what I mean? I called it.
I saw it on the Dynamite, and I was like, "Oh,
that's why I had to get it over the show." I said, "Make sure you get it over the show." Yeah, you know, I called it. What can I say? I know a thing or two about wrestling. You know what I mean? Wrestling.
I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to that match. That's the one at Beach Break was fucking good enough.
Yeah.
But you bringing back the Painmaker character, making it no holds barred. I'm fucking having some of that.
Yeah, I can't wait. Anything Jericho does is going to be fucking great. Whether he's fucking Y2J, whether he's the Lion fucking Lionheart, whether he's fucking the Painmaker, whether he's fucking, you know what I mean?
The baseball bats coming
guy,
out.
whether it's the list guy, whether it's this. It's Jericho, isn't it? He always fucking knocks it out of the park. Even when he goes, "Hi guys," like that, he's fucking brilliant, isn't it? It's Jericho. You know what I mean? What can I say? The man's fucking sheer genius.
The high guys. I
can't
used
stop crying
to
up about
find
him.
it funny, but
Yeah.
a lot of people fucking hated it.
Oh man, fuck
But-
them. Haters gonna hate, isn't it? Haters gonna fucking hate.
Well, the other bit I wanted to cover, which is another sort of I think this is a story that's gone under the radar a little bit, but it could actually be one of the matches that steals the show at Wembley if they go this way. But it's this international title thing with Cole Fletcher and Takeshita, and Okada still being in there, right? As much as Okada is all chummy with Cole Fletcher, there's no doubt about it. He does not like not having a belt, right? He doesn't like being the guy in the Don Callis family that, he's lost both of his titles. And, he lost his Continental belt, didn't he, to Moxley at the tournament. And then he lost the international one to Takeshita.
Yeah. Great match, by the way, wasn't it?
Mate.
Great match.
What a match that was
Great match.
on Beach Break. But like talking about good matches, did you watch Carl Fletcher and Commander?
Yeah.
What a great little match!
Fantastic.
That
I like everything Carl Fletcher's
completely
doing.
by a surprise, right? Because Commander's like one of them. He's like one of them kind of lower card guys. He's a luchador. We know that he can do. We know that he can do some special stuff. They never really build him as a big character because he perhaps hasn't got the charisma, or perhaps he's not good on the mic or whatever. But fucking hell, mate! Some of the stuff that he does, the walking, when he walks the length of the ropes and then sort of does like a springboard and a dive.
There's some unbelievable moves going, but I just
unbelievable.
Yeah, but that being said, like it's Carl Fletcher for me. He's just he's got a hell of a future. And
how well did he sell it though? How well did he sell those moves?
He's just got it all, and he's got the look, everything.
That bit when he was stood there and he was like, "Come on, give me your best shot," and he hit him with a couple of chops, and he and he absorbed it, and he was like, "Is that all you got? Is that all you got?"
Yeah.
And then he was like, and then Commander all of a sudden hit him with this. I can only describe it as. It looked like a sweet chin music, mate. It was like an old school Shawn Michaels, quick as you like, sweet chin music. And it caught him right on the chin. And he just sort of he done that thing of he stood upright and then he just dropped. And I just thought the selling of it from Fletcher was absolutely brilliant. And there was, Penta does that move, doesn't he? Does the Destroyer.
The Mexican Destroyer.
Mexican Destroyer.
So there's obviously the Canadian Destroyer, isn't it? It's like Pete
and
Williams
he does the Mexican. And so Commander did one, and I can't remember what the commentary team referred to it as. They called it a Mega Destroyer or something like that. So he jumped up, bounced off of the top rope, and then hit the Destroyer onto Fletcher. And I was watching, and I was just like, fuck, that's a pay-per-view level move. If you saw that in a pay-per-view, you'd be like, wow, that's incredible. But again, it just goes to show you, like, these guys, there's a lot of talent still out there that, they're not in the main positions, mate, because I don't even think Commander's 30 yet. I think he's in his 20s. And someone's in their 20s and they're doing that.
Same as you, I was totally shocked. I didn't know much about him before the match, and I thought I went away thinking, wow, another great talent that they've found, isn't it?
Great little match. But again, they'll bring him in every now and then. He'll probably have another match maybe this week, and then he might disappear back into into the Mexican scene for a little bit. But it does feel like Tony Khan can use these guys almost as like little special additions, and then if they heat up like Bandito heated up, then then he brings them in full time. But yeah, incredible stuff that he was doing, and I loved that match, and I loved the ending as well. I loved the fact that Takeshita came down, but then Okada came down, and then there was that thing of like he went to give Fletcher the title, but he couldn't bring himself to let go of it, and Fletcher was like almost had to wrestle it off of him. Mate, I smell a trios match at Wembley. Okada, Fletcher, Takeshita.
And that being said,
what a fucking match that would be.
And that being said, they was talking about the trios, weren't they? With the, with Orange Cassidy, I was saying about the challenges and that. So maybe they're trying to make the trios division would be a big thing. Yeah, like, mate, I just been forgotten like, about a little bit, isn't it? It's been on the back burner a little bit.
I don't know that. Okada and Fletcher would probably have to have someone else in with them. Maybe they end up challenging for that. But again, I feel like it's going to build on that thing of they're going to team together up until maybe just before Wembley, team together for a few weeks. They ain't going to be able to work together. There's a bit of a rift there, and then I think you have the triple threat match. I think it'll be Okada, Takeshita, Fletcher, triple threat match for the Intercontinental International belt. Similar thing, really. It's the same kind of the equivalent of the Intercontinental. But mate, if they give me that at Wembley, I am going to be a happy man if I get that triple threat.
Yeah,
That's going to
100%.
be quality. I'm trying to think what else. There's nothing else kind of major.
No, it was an all right little show, wasn't it? There weren't a lot going on
I've
like
got
the
one.
upload was in
I've got
past
one
weeks.
little negative, mate. One little negative.
A negative for AEW.
Negative for AEW. And listen, Tony, if you're listening,
he does listen to these, I reckon.
I think, Tony, perhaps having this extra pay-per-view squashed in could be a little bit of an error, because I'm not sure that the tickets are selling as quick as they thought. I believe they are up to about 31,000 now for Wembley, and the setup is for 40,000. So I don't think they're looking at going beyond that unless there was like this massive surge. But it feels to me like we still haven't got enough matches on the Wembley card. If it was me, I would be making sure them matches are in concrete on that Wembley card 6 weeks before, right? We're now just over 5 weeks away, right? Just over 5 weeks away, 5.5 weeks away from Wembley. And we've got one match on the card, which is Ospreay and Omega. And even that is a question mark as to whether that is a finalised match.
Is MJF going to be involved in somehow?
Exactly that, because MJF wasn't on this week's show. So I feel like that is an error. I think that's an error. I think you need to get big matches on the card 6 weeks prior. And by the time we have this event in Canada, which is not this weekend, I believe it's the following weekend, we're literally going to be 4 weeks. You're going to be 4 weeks away from Wembley, and then you're hoping that you push tickets, right? You've got to get your matches on. Literally, the Dynamite after that Redemption, you've got to have. I'd say you've got to have 6 matches announced, right? We've got to know what the world title match is. We've got to know what the women's world title match is. I feel like we've got to know that whether that TLC's happening. I feel like if you're going to do a triple threat with Fletcher, Okada, and Takeshita, you've got to get it on the card. You've got to get these matches. If the New Day's coming in, you've got to fucking even if you don't officially announce it, you've got to fucking get the people talking. You've got to drop something. You've got to drop a hint. You've got to drop someone saying a New Day line in a promo, something to spark a buzz. Right? I think these are the things that need to happen. If you've got an AJ Styles up your sleeve, someone's got to do a Styles Clash as a finisher or something like that. I just feel like there's stuff that needs to be done now.
I mean, that'd be quality. I can't see AJ, but
I know, but I'm hopeful, man. I
phenomenal one.
Look, we haven't seen him, have we? He's retired from WWE.
He's a country boy, isn't he? I know if he's with his family, you know what I mean?
Maybe, but look. Even if it was a one-off, even if he signed a one-off match against someone, AJ versus Jericho.
Yeah, I mean we see it on WWE.
Yeah,
but I'd watch it again definitely. Oh, they have a tag team, didn't they? With Y2 AJ, remember that?
Yeah. So that's my only little negative. I like the way the stories are progressing. I just feel like for us going and look, and I want this 40,000 crowd, right? I don't want to be sitting there with 31,000 having 9,000 empty seats. I want this to, like, whatever the setup is, I want them to hit that target so that we get the best crowd for when we go, right? The loudest that they can make it. And I think the best way to do that is to get some fucking matches on the card, right? If Tony Storm's coming back, tell us, right? Anyone that puts bums in seats, get it on the card for Wembley, start advertising it.
He loves the shock factor, though, doesn't he?
I know,
He's
but
just
I
a big
just feel
kid at
like
heart. That's what I feel like. The thing is with Tony, I feel like he's a big kid at heart. He's just like, he just wants to like pop himself. Oh, you know what I mean? Like, and I'm watching himself, like,
and
I don't think, it's like,
and also, mate,
he
he's
don't
very
care.
loyal.
He don't care about the money as much as WWE.
No.
To have a
Shant, if
great
it was
wrestling company.
WWE, as we've seen, mate, things would be different because they'd be getting
Oh,
big
well, we've
matches.
seen that with SummerSlam, and I mean, fair play to them. They put a brilliant card out, but it feels like fuck me, like that. I can't wait for SummerSlam. It just keeps getting better all the time. Like, we'll get into it more, but it's the complete opposite ends of the spectrum, isn't it? What you're talking about?
Yeah, I'm just gonna have a look. I'm just gonna look up these figures, mate, because my phone's just restarting. But I did note on my phone
Yeah.
some things about SummerSlam and why I think that they've done what they've done, because we have got on here, according to the reports. Okay, firstly, I've already said this. According to reports, at the minute, you can get SummerSlam tickets starting at $25. Now, I cannot remember a time ever with WWE where you could get a ticket anywhere, even if it was right at the very back,
No.
right, for $25. Never seen it. Even for a house show over in the UK, right? I've never ever seen them
No,
put a
never.
price that low, right? Bearing in mind this is a 2-night SummerSlam. So have they been over ambitious? Have they been too greedy by having it as a 2-nighter? I think yes. I think it should just be a
Oh, it's
one night,
ridiculous.
and you get all these big matches on the card in one night. There's matches. There will be matches over that 2 nights, mate, that will be so forgettable. People will just be thinking like, "Well, I didn't even watch it. I went and made a cup of tea at that point," or "Oh, that's when I went and queued up for a beer." If you're in the stadium, there's going to be some matches that are just so forgettable. They don't need to be on the card. They should concentrate on the 3 fucking main events that they've got: Reigns, Rollins,
I for one,
Cody Punk, Hell in a Cell.
I for one hate the fact that they even done WrestleMania over 2 nights. Like, that's WrestleMania. I fucking annoyed me the fuck. The WrestleMania's done over 2 nights. It just felt like why? Like why? It was always like WrestleMania. I feel like they want to get people on the card, but then you want to get your best people on the card. It's almost like having the World Cup final or the Super Bowl. It's your best people. Do you know what I mean? Playing, and then for games, it's like the people that deserve to be there, that performed all year, and it's like the end show, and it's like like the big payoffs, and it's like I don't know, like I don't know, do they need to do that? Because that's what house shows are for. That's what other, you know what I mean, like normal Raw and SmackDowns
This
are
is
for.
where I am with it, mate. The defense I would have of that at the time is that they were the only fucking wrestling company. So they did have, to be fair to them, a massive roster, right? And it was growing because they were bringing new talent through, or they were trying to bring new talent onto the roster, whilst no one was leaving, right? All of the old wrestlers, they weren't going anywhere because there was nowhere to go. So they just kept renewing their contracts and still trying to sort of bring new faces through. And it did feel like there was a lot of people that were probably in the last few years where it was a one-night show. I bet if you looked back on it and looked at the roster and looked at the card, I bet there was like 10, maybe 15 wrestlers that you thought, wow, how did that person not make it on a WrestleMania show? Do you remember when they brought in the Andre the Giant Battle Royal?
Yeah.
They brought that in purposely because there was 20 people that didn't have a spot. They didn't have a spot on the show, so they just went, fuck it, let's stick all 20 of them in the ring. And then that makes everyone happy. They've appeared at WrestleMania. So that's how big the roster is. I don't think they need to do it now because I don't think their roster is that big anymore, right? You think of all of the talent that's left, gone over to AEW, the talent that's on TNA, the talent that's gone back onto the indie circuit. I don't think the roster is big enough to warrant a 2-night any pay-per-view, in my opinion.
Now you put it like that, that makes a lot of sense, to be honest. Maybe I'm just fucking bitter because I'm fed up with deleting my social media on, like, because I always normally watch it all Sunday, you know what I mean? So maybe I'm just fed up. I always have to like, oh God, I don't want to see the results, you know what I mean? You know, you go on Facebook, Instagram, it's gonna like come up straight away. So that's my game plan. I always have work. I always chef, always work Saturday. Then Sunday, I look forward to watching it Sunday evening. I normally have Monday off. And I always think, yeah, delete Facebook, delete Instagram, and I don't know what's going on. And I'll sort of watch like fucking 8 hours of wrestling. That's all my night. But yeah, that's fair enough. I do that once a year. But what I've got to do is SummerSlam there as well. Like, it's just yeah, it's
Well,
a
look,
bit. But
bearing in mind the stadium they've chosen, mate. So it's in Minnesota, isn't it? It's in a fairly big old stadium. If you was booking the show, right? If you was Trips, what would you say is acceptable as a crowd for WWE? What's acceptable for each night of SummerSlam? Bearing in mind you've got a big main event on each one, right? You've got Roman Reigns and Rollins on one night, Cody and Punk on the other night. There's two giant main events.
yeah,
What are you saying is an acceptable crowd, do you think?
well, I mean, them like American, it's the Minnesota. I'm an NFL fan. It's the Minnesota Vikings Stadium. So, like, you know, those American football stands, some of them are like 90,000, 100,000 seat stadiums, aren't they? I believe, like, they're massive, aren't they? Even bigger than Wembley, all of them, aren't they? Like,
Yeah.
so it's like, I mean, realistically, what you're gonna have to like, you know, it's like you're gonna have to
You're
fill
gonna
at
have to
least like
stage
at
it
least
and takes
you
away a
go
bit of
maybe the
it.
staging take away, so maybe 50,000, something like that.
Right. So currently, night one, right, which is Punk Cody, 27,275.
So way off that now.
Night two, Rollins and Roman, less, 26,800.
That's low, isn't it? That's low.
Mate, that's why they're fucking selling tickets for $25.
Like, they've got too ambitious. Like the thing is, like it's just like it's like everyone knows, like the world now, isn't it? People are just getting too greedy and just be with everything, you know. You know, people like, you know, ain't gonna afford things soon. That's why we was talking about earlier. It's not just WWE, it's like concert prices, you know. Like, I used to go to concerts like all the time, and I've gone a lot of concerts in my life, you know, more than most. And I always go to like the little intimate concerts now because, you know, like 30, 40 quid. I like my country music. So
Yeah.
I always like go to like little gigs. The other day I actually see Sugar Hill Gang in Boysdale, you know, Wolf. You know, and there's like 300 or 400 people. I had a fantastic night, you know, and I paid like 35 quid for my ticket. And it's like, that's good, that's affordable. But it's like, I used to go to concerts at the O2 and like, or wrestling shows at the O2, and they were like, you know, you'd get a good seat for 60, 70 quid and you'd get a good seat. Now you're looking £200 for a ticket. I used to go to festivals in the day, festivals for 3-day events, packed solid with bands, like free fucking big head. I remember going Download Festival one year and it was Aerosmith, AC/DC, Rage Against the Machine. And it was like every fucking night jam packed. I remember like one day it was like Aerosmith was playing. There was Billy Idol there, there was Slash there was Motorhead there. It was just this full fucking thing, and that was about £200. And now you're saying to me, I've got to pay that for one fucking wrestling show or one fucking, you know, concert. It's just ludicrous. It is, and it's like people soon, like it's just, you know, people haven't got the money, and it's just ridiculous. You know, cost of living's going up. You know, like countries in a crisis, and America is probably something similar, and it's just like ain't much better. And it's like people haven't, genuine hard-working people haven't got the money now to shell out £200 to go and see one wrestling show. It's ridiculous, absolutely. And that's one, but that's for you. Imagine you trying, you know, your little boy likes wrestling. You know, he has a brother. Well, you're gonna pay £600 for a night out wrestling. Then go on food, like, well, you know, fuck me, you can go on holiday for that.
Well, and
Like,
this
it's
is the thing, mate.
ridiculous.
So, like, like I say, if you go to like a gig, even if it is a small gig, like 400 or 500 crowd, right? If you pay, say, less than 50 quid for your ticket, you don't mind getting stung a little bit on the drinks when you're in there, do you? You don't mind paying £7, £8 a pint or whatever it is. You know, you suffer that. It's fine. But if you was paying a few hundred, and then when you get in there, they want £10 for a burger, you know, £7.50 for a shitty portion of chips, you know, 9 quid a pint. That's the stuff that's then like feels like a kick in the teeth afterwards. So not only have you paid a lot of money for your ticket, but you then get your pants well and truly pulled down once you're in the building. And that is where I think we're maybe starting to see a little bit of a backlash, because the one thing that ain't changing is the prices of those drinks and the food in those places. That ain't moving, mate. That ain't shifting. That is fucking set in stone. That is the price that they will charge at an NFL match. It's, the prices at the Emirates. If I go to watch Arsenal, they are the prices. They don't shift. They don't drop.
Yeah.
Um, so it's the ticket that has to drop. If you want to get bums on seats and you want people to buy merch and you want people to buy, food and drink when they're in there, then you have to reduce the cost of getting them in the building. Then they'll spend money, right? And that's where the real profit is in all that stuff. The real profit is not the seat itself. But yeah,
No.
maybe they're finally maybe there is a bit of a backlash and they've finally got to wake up to this, mate. Because also the other thing that, and you sort of just mentioned it there about about families going and stuff like that. There's 2 points that I want to make about why I think that WWE's business model, or TKO's business model, over the last couple of years is wrong, right? Despite what they say about, oh yeah, we've made this amount of money and we've never been more profitable, right? Bullshit, right? I call bullshit on it, because number one, if you don't take families, you will not get kids becoming new wrestling fans,
Yeah, of course,
like you
yeah.
said, right? So how are you ever going to get kids to become lifelong fans if they can never experience it live, right? Because there is nothing like experiencing anything live to get you hooked on something, is there?
Yeah.
Right? You, like you say, you go and watch your favorite band. Once you've watched them once live, the chances are that's not a one-off in your lifetime, is it? I mean, how many times have you been to see Kiss?
Me 3 times, yeah.
Exactly. Right? So you don't stop at once, do you? If you go to see something and you enjoy it, you're
Yeah.
like, oh, I'm going to go and see them again the next time they're touring, right? Second thing is, all of these rich twats, right, that are buying all of the front row seats and all of that kind of stuff and taking their kids there, and their kids are sitting there not even really watching the show. Most of them are sitting there on their phone and all that, right? Once they've ticked that off, once that box has been ticked, took little Johnny to see WWE tick, do you think they're going again every year? Do you think they're going to be fans that
No.
are going to be attending all the time?
No.
Because I don't. I think for them, it's just we sat there, here's our photo, we've popped that on Instagram, we've popped that on TikTok, here we are, yeeting on TikTok. Right, we've ticked that box, that's it. Little Johnny's going to watch something else next year. He's going to the NFL, he's going to the basketball, he's going to the Olympics, he's going to a boxing match, he's gone to the World Cup final, right? People with money don't do experiences on repeat, right? They just don't. That's not how they spend their money, right? They seek highs all the time, and once they've done
I'll be
it,
honest
they'll
with
go
you
and
as
do
well.
something else.
I'll be honest with you, yeah. Posh us, no offense to the fucking rich people. Fair enough, you rich, yeah. Poshos fucking think differently to us, don't they? Let's be honest,
They
yeah.
do.
They've got a different life. Wrestling to them is it's a working man's thing, and it's like, they look here and be like, people poshos like the UFC because it's fucking like, let's see 2 geezers kick the shit out of each other. Let's see two geezers, we'll give them some money and kick the shit. It's like the gladiators back in the day, isn't it? In the fucking, with Julius Caesar and shit, like going, oh yeah, it's like the same sort of thing, isn't it? Like,
'Cause that's how
all the
history
rich,
works.
let's watch the fucking slaves. They've got no money. Let's give these poor people that've got no money, let's throw a load of money at them and watch them kick the shit out of each other. That is a rich person thing, isn't it? Because they're sick. They like fucking, look, I'm sorry, but it's true, isn't it? You like fucking, they're all fucking, it's all sex and violence and fucking, like, it is like that because they're used to getting those things in life. So they want more. We're just satisfied with what we want to go to, us working class people.
Most people that are in combat sports, mate, are from poor backgrounds, right?
Yeah, of course. And who watches it? The rich. I watched the UFC the other day. You had
There's a
fucking
saying, mate.
front row. You had that
hunger in
Theo Vaughn there. You had
paradise.
Mel Gibson there. You had fucking
Yeah.
like Donald Trump's there. Fucking, it's all the elite people there because it's fucking rich people. Oh, let's watch these fucking people. Look, kick the fuck out of each other. It's just that they've got that. That's how their brain works.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. I like the UFC, but they love that, and it goes back to a towel past time. Like I said with the Roman days. Like let's get two slaves together, and I ain't got no money. We'll give them courting and fucking give them opportunities, and watch them kill each other.
Mate, you don't have to go that far back. I mean, all you got to do is have a look at. I mean, I'm saying 200 years, 250 years in America, mate. They used to have Mandingo fighting, where you just get two black slaves and let fight to the death and wager money on it, right?
Mhm.
So, yeah, that kind of thing is instilled in the culture of America, which is to find people that are desperate and will fight, which is what those people from the poor backgrounds do. And then once they win a few matches, you reward them happy.
I do love that.
You keep them happy, right? You give them their sponsorship and that, which is exactly how they kept the black slaves happy, right? What they used to do is give them a female slave to go and bed for the night, give them a nice beer, which none of the other slaves were allowed, and it made them feel a little bit human for a bit. And it's the same thing. It's the same business model, right? They're not slaves. Obviously, they can pick and choose what they want to do, even though they can't because they're under contracts, which is a similar sort of thing. They have to do as they're told. But it's the same business model, right? They prey on people that will fight because they're hungry for it, right? Like I say, there's no. They say,
and let's be honest,
no hunger in paradise. You don't get any rich MMA fighters. You don't get no one born with a silver spoon in their mouth that goes on to take those kind of fucking punches to the head.
No,
not many.
No, of course not. But also, it's like that's why you don't mind paying more money for a UFC fight because you think, fuck me, this case is really like, do you know what I mean? Like, like it's so barbaric. It's so barbaric. It's quality. I love it. But that's why people pay the big bucks to go and watch it. But wrestling's, a fun family entertainment sport. And the difference with these fighters is like Paddy the Baddy, yeah? He fought now. He ain't going to fight now for another probably 5 or 6 months. Where wrestling, they fight every week. You know what I mean? It's they have these matches every week. So it's a different model. Do you know what I mean? Like it's a different model. You're doing shows every week. Like you're paying your wrestlers and they're wrestling every week. Paddy the Baddy is going to fight maybe 4 times a year, 3 times a year. Do you know what I mean? Like, if you're lucky. Whereas like it's a completely different model. That's why the UFC product model is different and they can charge more. But WWE need to stop thinking they're fucking UFC because they're not.
Because what you want is you want people to be in a position where whenever they are putting an event on, right, in your state, they should want people to go and watch that every time, right?
Yeah.
So every time you're in New York, right, any part of New York, I'm not talking about just limiting it to Manhattan, but any part of the state of New York, they should want people to want to travel that little bit and go and watch that show, right? Anywhere in Florida, anywhere in Texas. But that ain't going to happen, mate, because they're not watching it week upon week. Like I said, it's a one-off. It becomes a one-off, tick box, bang. There you go. My kid's been to see Jey Uso, and he was happy, and now he's moving on to something else, right? Because that's how they work. But I think in the long run, I don't think that is going to serve WWE going into another 20, 30 years, right? Whereas I think Vince McMahon, when he started WrestleMania, WrestleMania 1 in the mid-80s, I think he had a long-term vision where he sort of knew, he didn't go through all the shit of buying up all the best talent from all the territories and trying to put them out of business in their early days for nothing. He knew exactly what he was building, and he wanted it to be what it was for a while, mate, which is people like us, right, that watched it from the age of 9 and just continued watching it because it just became part of your life, right? It's like watching football at 3:00 on a Saturday afternoon. It becomes part of your life, right? You do it even automatically. And for a long, long time, I did that with wrestling. You've been doing it for years, where you just automatically watch it. You automatically tune in and watch Monday Night Raw. But I don't think that that's happening anymore, and I think that's a massive, massive mistake.
Yeah, I
Massive,
agree.
massive error.
But look, that's on the negatives. But let's talk about it. Look, what did you think of? I mean, SmackDown. I'll be honest with you for SmackDown. I thought it was different because I've been really enjoying SmackDown a lot more than Raw the last few weeks. This week was the first week I enjoyed Raw more than
Bit more.
SmackDown.
Yeah, I
And
mean,
I think, you know what? Sorry, didn't I? There's a lot of adverts on SmackDown this week, and I didn't know what was going on with it. I thought there was an unusual amount of adverts for me. I don't know if it was just me.
I always say, mate, with Netflix, it depends on how quickly you watch it after the program. So I
Yeah.
think I watched SmackDown. I happened to watch it on Saturday afternoon, I think, and yeah, I had to flick through the adverts. Whereas sometimes, if I don't watch the SmackDown till the Sunday, they seem to kind of skip through a lot of them for you, and you don't notice it as much. You know, there was a couple of decent matches. You know, Balor had a decent match, didn't he? He's sort
Balor
of
was good. I always like to see Balor. You know what, as well,
going on a
like,
bit of
we're
a
skipping
run.
ahead, like, so I didn't watch it, but I'll be honest with you, I didn't watch it. I'm going to watch it after this. I see the highlights of the Saturday night main event, and what a big deal that was. I mean, like, to get Carl Anthony, I mean, like, I'm a big NBA. I like the NBA. And, like, I mean, I know a lot of English people will, but I'm a big NBA fan, and the Knicks was fantastic. They fucking won, and I don't know if you know the background. It's like the Knicks, obviously a massive fan base. You know, playing the biggest arena in the world. They call it, you know, Madison Square Garden. It's like it's been 53 years since they've won, so it was fucking
It's a
massive.
massive deal.
And it's like they've got Jalen Brunson and Carl Anthony Towns, their two biggest stars, bar none. And they have Carl Anthony Towns first come out and like do the chokeslam thing, but then they have fucking Jalen Brunson walk out with Roman Reigns like the king of New York. And you know what? The thing I thought in my head straight away was like, fuck me. Like, maybe not in England now, but how hot Jalen Brunson is, the king of New York at the minute. He's probably one of the biggest stars in America now. It almost reminded me of when Vince McMahon got Mike Tyson to come out. Well, Vince McMahon got Mike Tyson on WWE, because how big Mike Tyson was at the
Baddest man
time.
on the planet.
Do you know what I mean? And it maybe it is the AEW pressure that's mounting a bit. He thought, fuck me, you know, they thought we'd get some star power.
I think they had that in the pipeline, mate, because don't forget
Yeah, I know
it started with the Danhausen lifting the curse, and that look, there's been a connection, and it was
they've done well with that.
They
And the Madison Square Garden thing with the WWE.
It's a massive, massive coincidence that way back before that run that they went on, right? Before that streak that they went on, that winning streak, before they even started that, right? He happened to say something about what about those Knicks, but he was mugging them off because they'd lost a few games, and he was like, then it was like, oh yeah, I've cursed them, and that's why they're shit. And then, you know, once they started stringing a few wins together, WWE was just thought, oh, like, why don't we build on this and then have it that Danhausen has lifted the curse? And look, and it could have still gone to shit, right? Because they could have gone on a run, but still not ended up winning. You know, winning the trophy at the end of it, and then it wouldn't have had the same impact, would it? The Danhausen thing wouldn't have had that impact. But they just lucked out that that's the way it went. And like you said, what was it? You said 50? How many years?
53 years. I think it was 53 years. Yeah.
So you know that long wait for that championship, 53 years. Yeah, WWE just got completely lucky with it. And look, and why, from a business point of view, why wouldn't you jump on it? Of course you would, because they've been doing so many things. Like,
it was such well busy. It was just, I can't explain to you how big it is. It was fucking awful. It was awesome.
as I say, look, it didn't mean nothing to me, but then I'm not a basketball fan, and I'm in the minority. I accept.
And this is going to link into my next thing I want to talk about. You've got Tyrese Halliburton, who plays for the Indiana Pacers. Now, he is sort of like, not this year, because he was injured a lot this year. Like the last 2 seasons, the fucking Pacers have knocked knocked out the New York Knicks out of the playoffs the last 2 years before this. So he is like the fucking enemy of New York. He is like the most hated man. He's the star player for the Indiana Pacers.
Yeah.
So he's like the fucking biggest enemy in New York. He's sort of like, you know, like what Harry Kane would be to Arsenal for all them years at Tottenham.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So it would sort of be like this year. Let's put it in perspective for English fans here. I'm going to explain this. So it would sort of be like, yeah, fucking WWE having a live event at the Emirates Stadium in Arsenal, and Declan Rice comes out with fucking Roman Reigns, and then fucking who's back in his Tottenham shirt? Harry Kane's here, like, to fucking spoil the party. It's like, would that fucking ever happen in England? It's insane. Like, it's insane. And Harry Kane's come out to spoil the party in his Tottenham shirt, like the dastardly Harry Kane. It's just theatre. And it's just mad how the Americans jump on this shit. But
I do remember seeing Vinnie Jones. I do remember seeing Vinnie Jones come out in his lock, stock, two smoking barrels gear with Stone Cold, but
yeah. But then this is the point I wanted
not
to...
on that level though, was he, Vinnie Jones?
But this is the point I wanted to link on. I'm so fucking confused at the minute. Not even what I've got to think, because I want Seth to win, but what do they want the fucking fans to think? Because then Seth comes out with Tyrese Halliburton, where it's like, you know, the enemy of fucking New York, and he gets booed, and he's there with the king of New York, Roman Reigns, so he's obviously the face. But then, like, we get on to fucking Raw this week, and it's like, oh, well, Solo's siding with him, but like no one likes Solo, and people. But then LA Knight's in Solo's group, and LA Knight's like the biggest fan favourite at the minute. So then what is he with Seth? Like, what's going on? Like, fucking, is it just me? Like, who's a face? Who's a fucking heel?
Right.
Like, I don't know.
Deano,
like,
we had this discussion about 6 weeks ago.
But it's, I get like what we said earlier.
WWE don't have they've got no heels, right? Apart from Gunther, he's the only one that is like an out and out, and maybe Dom Mysterio. They're the only ones that are like out and out heels that you hate and despise, right? And the reason for it is, right, they've made a rod for their own back here, is they can't get over the entrances, right? They just can't. They've created such a fucking big deal, and it all comes back to what we were just talking about the type of people now that are paying massive amounts of money to go and see these shows. But I'll give you an example, right? So the end of Raw, the end of Monday Night Raw. So we've got what I thought was a really good match between LA Knight and Jacob, right? Great little match, going back and forth. You know, both of them looking strong. Both of them are hot right now. Really miss Jacob, you know, while he's been out injured.
Yeah, it's great. It's good to see him, man.
But he looked good. He looked sharp. Jimmy comes down. Solo comes down. Right? So obviously they're building up for this 3v3. Royce Keys comes down, right?
Fuck me, he looked big, didn't he? Yeah.
None of their entrance music played, right? The only guy that came down was Jey Uso, and that's because if the fans didn't, if Jey Uso appears on an episode of Raw and the fans are not given an opportunity to yeet, right, it feels like they've been robbed, like based on the money that they've paid, because that's all they've paid to go there for, right? Like I said, it's an Instagram opportunity, it's a TikTok opportunity, so they put on his music for a run-in, right? That never used to fucking happen in WWE. The only one that got that right as a run-in was Stone Cold Steve Austin.
I knew what you were going to say, Steve. Yeah. I knew exactly how best the. Yeah. How can you not get the glass shut
He's the only one that got it right.
You compare
nobody else got it.
You compare Joe to Stone Cold Steve Austin.
No, I'm fucking. Is that what you're doing? I'm not, right?
Sorry, I had to get.
But my point is so clearly over the last few weeks, the Bloodline have played the heel characters, right? They've been the heels, and Seth has been the face, and LA Knight has definitely been a face, and Solo's been sort of, we can't really work out where Solo's allegiance lies, right? So he's sort of a bit of a tweener. Royce Keys has definitely played a face, right? Yeah, at the end of this episode of Raw, The Bloodline beat down those three and stand tall over them, right? While the crowd go fucking mental chanting OTC, OTC.
But then what? But then fucking LA Knight, they're having on before doing this fucking every week. They have him on week after week doing these big promos, getting the crowd pumped up like a face. But then what? Now he's part of the heel team. What? Like I don't know what to think.
No, LA Knight's not part of the heel team, mate. They just can't. The Bloodline are the heel team, but they can't get them over as a heel team because of the entrances of Roman Reigns and Jey Uso. They
Yeah.
can't. They just can't do it. It's impossible. So,
Well, they're obviously getting them over as the face now. They've just decided to because why would they have
No,
fucking
I don't-
Roman
I
Reigns
don't-
walk out with
No.
with Jalen Brunson? There's no
because that's just probably part of the deal is they said to him, right, we want you to appear on a show like with a star. Like, who do you want to go on with? And he's gone Roman Reigns. But that's what I'm saying. But that's part of the problem is that the people that are watching it, they don't understand how wrestling works. They don't even know that there's heels and faces.
Yeah.
They're not even aware of that concept of heels and baby faces. There's just stars and there's entrance musics and there's chants, right?
Yeah.
And that's it. That's all it
Yeah,
is
where's
to
the
them.
storyline?
Right?
No, I agree.
So and that's why it's becoming hard to tell these storylines because you don't fucking know, right? And we've said this for a long time. The only one is Gunther, but they won't beat any of those stars either, right? They won't have Gunther beat Cody Rhodes, beat CM Punk, beat Roman Reigns. They won't have him win those. So he's taken out of the title picture. Completely give him a feud with Nick Aldis. Doesn't matter if he fucking chokes that prick out, right? And he goes to sleep. No one cares, right? Why? But he's British fella, and he was. What do we care?
I'm looking forward to seeing that Nick Aldis, to be honest.
It might be a good match, but what I'm saying is but they've given him a match, right? They've took the Brock Lesnar retirement away from him, which I'm 100% certain, right, that the second that he retired John Cena, I'm telling you that the match that was written up on that board for SummerSlam was Gunther retires Brock Lesnar, right? And we build on this career killer thing, right? He has it on his Titantron when he comes out. It's on the screen. Each side, career killer, right? He's not killing any fucking careers at the minute, is he? He's not even winning any matches at the minute.
No.
Whose career is he killing, right? The only career that's getting killed is fucking Gunther's career because you won't beat your top stars. Because why? Because you want people to do the fucking entrance songs. That's it. They've put themselves in a position where it doesn't work, right? Now, that's why you've got Seth Roman and that's why you've got Cody Punk because they can get, it doesn't matter who wins. It don't matter who wins. They like WWE can't lose in those two main events because it don't matter because the crowd will cheer for anyone. And the crowd's not going to get upset if Rollins beats Roman.
It's a really good point, Steve. You put it like that.
They won't put themselves in a position, mate, where a top star is getting beat unless it's their final match, right? So like John Cena, AJ Styles, unless it's their final match, they're not willing to beat them. That's just where I think it's gone. But look, we can get some good matches, right? We've got, like I say, we've got a good card at SummerSlam. The matches could be brilliant. I am worried that with the follow-up, right? Because the follow-up to WrestleMania, mate, was absolutely dire. I mean, it was dire. Those 3 months following WrestleMania was absolute dog shit.
I mean, you know what? The one thing I was saying, it didn't help when the big storyline would have been Seth Rollins broke the vision and he got, the injuries and all that. That didn't help. I mean, like, yeah, I do agree. I think they've definitely upped their game lately, but that definitely didn't help.
So, look, they have to deliver on this SummerSlam. They've done it to try and sell tickets because, before they announced those matches, before they announced it as Punk and Cody, and before they announced it as Roman and Seth, I think the ticket sales were less than 20,000, mate, on each night, which is like fucking AEW got more than that at Forbidden Door
Yeah,
at the O2.
yeah,
So and you're talking, like you say, you're talking about a massive football stadium that is gonna look. Imagine how shit that would look with 20,000 people.
yeah,
It would just look crap. So they're desperate, mate, and they'll be giving tickets away. Like I reckon within a week. Bearing in mind it's not this weekend, is it? It's the following weekend. First
yeah.
weekend in August,
Yeah, it's
mate.
the first and 2nd of August is, yeah.
They'll be fucking giving tickets away this weekend. I guarantee it. They will be literally
But then when
coming
you
coming for
giving tickets
nothing.
away, you're not getting real fans there, are you? You're not getting,
No, they don't care. They need bums on seats. They need aesthetically, it's going to look shit, right? So they need to get people in that stadium. They need to pack it out. They will just be giving them away. Fucking anyone that can get there. I don't know. I'm sorry. I apologize if you're from Minnesota. I don't mean this as a dig, but I don't imagine Minnesota is a massive holiday destination where you're going to get loads of tourists that you could just
yeah,
get in there. Like like in London, right? If there's an event in London that say like it's got 10,000 seats left and it undersold,
yeah,
right? You just give them out to the tourists. You just give them to the tourists, and they just go to it, and you fill it up, and it looks great, even if you haven't got the people there that you really want there. Yeah, I think that's what they'll do. But are they spending all of their big, like it's like they've gone all in with this, isn't it? Have they put all their big chips in on this
I don't know what else they
SummerSlam?
can do. They're fucking, they're gonna win, aren't they? Yeah. They've really gone in I honestly think me and you both think that they pulled the, Mania the 2 Mania events with to SummerSlam.
If they're clever, they'll do three things, right? Every other match on this card is insignificant. They can do what they want with the Vision and the tag titles. They can do what they want with the Bloodline 3-on-3 match. They can do what they want really with the women's title. There's three things that they have to do here. Number one, right? Ober beats Brock and Heyman turns on Brock, right? That that's your big moment. Like they say like about WrestleMania moment. That's your big moment. That's your big pop. That's your big Instagram, TikTok, big social media moment. Like everyone, all the shock factor, showing all
Yeah,
the
we've been calling.
showing all the clips of people watching it and going,
I
"Oh,
think
oh
that's
my."
and
That's your big moment. That's number one that they've got to do. Number two, Punk beats Cody and keeps that belt. You can't have Punk.
Cody's been camped for
You
too long,
cannot have Punk win that belt and then drop it to Cody straight away, right?
especially after Sammy dropped it after a month. And
Yeah.
I know what you're gonna say. Can I say it? Do you want me to say it for
Go
you?
on.
Rollins going over against
And
Roman.
Rollins goes over against Roman. And
Uh,
I'll tell you why Rollins has to go over against Roman. Otherwise, every other time that they have a conversation, it is going to be meaningless and boring, right? And there'll be nothing to it. If Roman beats Rollins and he achieves this thing that he says he wants to achieve, right? What is the point of them ever, ever having a face-to-face at any point in the future?
it's not gonna mean anything, is it?
It will mean nothing, right? That means that this will be the last ever match they have and the last ever storyline that they have. And it means that this whole thing with the bloodline and that you have to ship Seth over to SmackDown,
Yeah,
right? And then he can't come out and say welcome to Monday Night Rollins, can you? So again, they've fucking killed themselves,
yeah.
right? WWE by making too much out of these taglines that they have, because he has to stay on Raw, because then he can't say his little catchphrase. But then if he stays on Raw, what do you do with Seth? Right? If he's not involved in any bloodline feud, if he's not feuding with Jey Uso, if he's not feuding with Jacob, like, what do you do with Seth?
No, I
So
agree.
he has to go over, and Roman goes away. Roman does his little thing. He goes on holiday until the Rumble, and Cody does as well. That's how I look at it. You take Roman out, you take Cody out, grow a pair of balls, right? Stop worrying about your ticket sales and the people, but no one will come if Roman's not there. Reduce your ticket prices, Get your real wrestling fans back in. Push Gunther. Fucking get Braun Breaker out of that vision. Mate, how are they? Have you ever seen a guy hit such a devastating move to finish people off, but be in such a shit faction? When he does that spear, when he hits the ropes 4 times and he builds
Mate,
up that
you
speed.
know what? I just can't, like, it's not just that. Why the fucking Vision do nothing for me? Shit, Channing Tatum does nothing for me.
Heyman's
You know what I
dropped him,
mean?
didn't he? Heyman's dropped him.
Yeah, and it's like now, like Logan Paul's their manager, and it's like, I get it, because they're probably, you know, I get he's got the star power, Logan Paul, and you want to leave him on, but why?
But mate, I'm telling you, they're invested in this because
How many fucking different versions of the Vision could there be?
not
They've only been around like about 9 months. There's been about fucking 5 different versions of them. You know what I mean? It's insane.
not only have they just bought Maxine Dupree in, but they've actually kind of got matching ring gear now.
Yeah.
If you have a look at what Braun's wearing and what Austin Theory's wearing, they're color coordinated. They've gone with the same writing with the sort of blue bubble writing. They ain't done that to finish these off.
No.
They are, mate. They're going to be tag team champions for months and months and months. That's it. That's what they've decided to do with Braun. He's gone from being the guy that we thought was going to.
Oh man, he's like the hottest thing in NXT. You know what I mean? Little baby style.
They can heat him back up, but I mean,
yeah.
I don't know. Or is this another fucking Chad Gable thing? The guy that was great, and then all of a sudden, before you know it, Braun's like 35, 36, and he's still
fucking Shorty G.
He still hasn't.
Have Shorty G again.
He still hasn't got in the title picture. I don't know, but look, that's my opinion. That is my opinion, and I think you can actually do these 2 main events of SummerSlam. I think they can do them again at WrestleMania in Saudi, and just reverse the outcome. Roman beats Rollins, and then he gets his moment, and perhaps Cody wins the belt back. That's where I think it might go.
Maybe. Well, we'll have to see, but I agree with what you said there, really.
Yeah. Right. Anything else on Raw that we've kind of missed? Oh, I mentioned Chad Gable. I'm still confident he's going to win the IC title.
I'm looking forward to that match. I'm really looking forward to that match.
I think that it could steal the show.
Yeah.
I think it could steal the show in terms of technical wrestling, not storytelling. But in terms of the technical wrestling, I think Chad Gable and Penta could steal the show.
I'm really looking forward to it. Chad needs to go over as well.
Yeah, definitely. Other than that, I can't really think of much else. No. Obviously, you've got the Danhausen with the Judgment Day thing.
Yeah,
they've got nothing. They've got nothing for Liv to do. They can't do anything with her until she has this match with Io Sky.
They've even got Io Sky involved with Danhausen. She's come out with the Danhausen.
Because they've got to try and sort of keep this Liv Io feud alive, but Io can't.
Danhausen's having a match with Dominic Mysterio as well, isn't he?
Yeah. In which case, I mean, like,
it's just going to be a lot of fucking. Dominic Mysterio is going to play like the Wile E. Coyote character. All the shit, all the Acme stuff's going to be blowing up in his face, and
Dom has to win that. He can't. He can't lose to Danhausen.
No,
he can't lose to Danhausen.
He's a comedy character.
I'll tell you what. This is what I wanted to ask you. So they've said that Big Cass, is coming back. I'm sure they've put it down as the 3rd of August. Which I believe is night 2 of SummerSlam.
Interesting.
No.
He's coming back on Monday Night Raw, I'm sure.
Is he? All right. Maybe
I'm sure that it's the 1st and 2nd.
So he comes back
and then he's back after. Monday Night Raw is the 3rd after SummerSlam.
So they've put that on there that he's coming. Do you think he interferes in something? I mean, if you're going to put him straight into a feud, which match is he interfering in at SummerSlam?
I mean,
he's a big guy, isn't he? He's a Triple H.
You know what he could. One thing I could, and this could be a right swerve on everything we've said. What if he aligns himself with Paul Heyman? I could see that.
Yeah,
but then I could see we've been talking about. I can see obviously the turn anyway. So,
Oh, look,
but that would
look,
be
even the stuff that Heyman said on Raw this week, mate. He went back. He done the mirroring of Brock's first year in WWE and Ober's first year in WWE, and he even referred to Ober as the next big thing. Mate, I'm telling you now,
no, it's going to happen.
the
But
Easter
I'm
eggs
saying,
are there. They're
no,
planting the seed.
I still think that's going to happen. I'm just saying that'd be another cool thing because I could see that as well. He'd be a great Paul Heyman guy. But yeah, I mean, does he get involved? I don't know.
Or I don't know. Maybe he does just come back on Raw.
Yeah, maybe he just comes back on Raw. Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see how they use him because he is a big guy, and as we said
Or
before, he's
I've got it.
go on.
Set they try and turn Seth Morley's heel character. He helped Seth win the title against Roman. He's sort of like the bucking. That's like Shawn Michaels and Kevin Nash, isn't it? That kind of fucking vibe.
Or he joins the Vision.
Oh, fuck off. If that happens, I might have to give WWE a timeout for a little
Or
bit more.
does he do that? Does he come out and do that?
I can see that I think that would be. I think that would be a really cool. I think that would be a really cool pairing. Big Cass with Seth Rollins, like with like just them two though, and he's sort of Seth Rollins' bodyguard.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like Seth comes out and he's like, it would be like fucking Diesel and fucking Shawn Michaels. That's what it would be. That's what the vibes it would give me. I would love to see that. That would be great. I'd love to see that. If I call this again, seriously, like that.
Right. Well, I think we've covered most of the stuff we wanted to talk about.
And I'm tired, Steve. Anyway, I'll be honest.
Yeah, it is. Oh, mate, it's gone 1 a.m. This is a
busy man for us.
This is a late one for us, guys. But look, we say it. It's how dedicated we are, and in return for our dedication, if you could just give us a like and hit that subscribe button.
Comment as well. We want to hear you like the show. You don't like the show. We want to hear it all.
Yeah. We'll be doing our prediction show next week where we'll go through the whole SummerSlam card. But yeah, we always ask for comments. We don't get as many as we'd like, but we want to hear, what do you think about these main events? You know, what would you do if you was the booker? Who would go over for you? Where would you take it? Right, these are the things we like to discuss. Okay, Dino. Let's wrap it up, okay? Because we've been talking for an hour and 15 minutes, and it is late, okay?
All right.
But before we go, I just need to remind everyone, nobody talks smack like Dino, Steve O'Mac.
And that's the truth, baby. Good night, guys.
And we'll be back again next
See you next week.